गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. We are in Katha Upanishad, verse number 11, and the previous verse in the 10th verse, it said yada panchavatishtante jnanani manasa saha buddhischa na vicheshtati tamahu paramam gatim, and they call that as the highest state, tamahu paramam gatim. What is that highest state? When the 5 organs of knowledge, when panchavatishtante, when all the 5 sense organs are at rest, and not only that, even the mind and intellect have come to rest, and that state is called as the highest. Now, how do you, it's very easily said, but do we have an experience of that? Do we? One moment, I'll just bring you up. अरे कहाँ चला गया? So, do we have an experience of that, where all our faculties, senses, mind and intellect are rest? We saw that last week, and that is sleep. But it is a negative state. It is a state of no knowingness. We have to somehow, here the teacher is saying, yada, when, by some practice, by, as before it was told, by doing all that, again it will be reiterated in the next verse, in the 11th verse. And what is that? That you must bring your senses, mind and intellect under control. Why worry about intellect and mind? First bring your senses under control. And what does it mean to get senses under control? Brainstorming, tell me, someone.
Not indulging.
One by one. Usha?
Not indulging in the worldly things.
Not indulging in the worldly things. Anyone else?
So all your senses are only focused in one thought. So
all your senses are focused on one thought. It can be thought of something in the world. It has to be thought of the self or self here. Anyone else?
Not to get influenced by the external stimuli, Swamiji.
Not to be influenced by the external stimuli. Good. See, right now you are listening to me. Correct? I think we brought this point out last week. Right now you are listening to me. Your sensory perceptions are working. And these are called jnanendriyas. The 5 senses, the seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting, are called as jnanendriyas. Jnanendriyas means organs of knowledge. And when does knowledge take place? Asking the question to you people. When does knowledge take place?
when you stimulate them,
No.
when something comes to them.
Okay, that's little bit of an answer.
When we are available
When
to
do the when do the objects or sensory perceptions become knowledge? When you
When the
give,
brain,
say,
when the mind accepts them.
correct. Mind accepts them, and how does it do it? By giving value and importance, right? Why will he value and importance? Because there is a desire behind it. Right now, what are you giving importance to? To the words that are coming to you, to the person who's sitting. Maybe you're looking at me or at least listening to me, I hope. Are you giving importance to where you are sitting, where all the objects in your room, are they making any impact on your mind? While you are listening to me, your eyes will go here and there. Sometimes they'll close, sometimes they'll look at, there's so many things in the room. But is that making, is that precipitating as a thought? No, because you are not, even though a perception is happening, but you are not available to it. Very, very important. So when do perceptions become knowledge? Only when we interact with the perceptions. If you remain a sakshi, a witness, the perceptions, they appear and they disappear. They will not create an impact.
So
The sign of perceptions creating an impact is precipitation of a memory, superficial or conscious or subconscious. Yes, someone was asking something.
yes, Swamiji. So why are they then still called the intelligence, the organs of
They are
the
organs.
sense?
They are organs. Without senses,
Yes.
without senses, you will not know anything.
Yes, but you call them
Organs of knowledge.
knowledge. Yes.
Yes. So a realized master also has organs of knowledge. We also have organ of knowledge. We are making every perception into a thought. A realized master doesn't make it into a thought.
Okay.
Why? This is called control of mind. That is the ultimate state. But I'm giving you from the example that you are in your room right now. Nothing in your room is precipitating as a memory if you are focused on what you are listening right now, because you don't want to be distracted. You want to be with the thought that is being presented. And in that moment, if the phone rings, you will hear it, but you will disregard it. If the thirst comes, you will disregard it. If you have to if a scratch comes in the meditation, you will disregard it. So that means it is not becoming a knowledge, because you are not available to it. Just like in sleep, you are not available to any sense perception, so to say. Why? All the senses are at rest. Therefore, no thought precipitation. Therefore, mind is rest. When mind is at rest, the intellect is at rest, because intellect has nothing to get involved with. Intellect is where the I comes. The subject is in the intellect, and there is no object in the mind. So the idiot goes to sleep. We have to keep him awake. We have to we have to keep the idiot awake. Then that idiot will realize that he's not an idiot. He's the supreme, but he will know it without knowing it as a thought. My God, too many words. contradicting words, but that's how it is. Continuing here, so last week we also talked to you about that as the senses, the sense, the precipitation of the perception becomes less, the thoughts in the mind become less, the data for the eye becomes less in the mind. In the end, a point will come where it doesn't have to go to zero. It doesn't have to go to zero. But a good percentage of thoughts in the mind have become reduced. And at that moment, the I starts, or I should not say the I, because I has become weak because of less data for it to associate with, a new faculty gets inaugurated within us. And that new faculty is intuition. That will not happen in sleep. That will not happen when you are awake. It will happen when you are awake, but behaving as if you are asleep. This is the knack. Then the intuition starts. And here the teacher says in the 11th verse, you can repeat after me, Tam yogamiti manyante, Tam yogamiti manyante, Sthiramindriya dharanam, Sthiramindriya dharanam, Apramattastada bhavati, Apramattastada bhavati, Yogo hi prabhavapyayau, Yogo hi prabhavapyayau. So here, this is the method of yoga. Iti yogamiti manyante. This is tam. Tam means that. Yogamiti manyante. Manyante means regard, or they say. What do they say as yoga? That sthiram indriya dharanam. Now what I just told you, again that is being said, and that is that when the seeker, when the yogi, when the inquirer or the Vedantin, when he becomes the free from all what do you call, sense stimuli as well as thought stimuli. But remember the connection between sense stimuli and thought stimuli. We are not disturbed by our very few, majority of the people are disturbed by the sense stimuli. Majority of us. Very unique ones are the ones who are disturbed by the thought stimuli, because they keep imagining, they keep seeing things even when they are not. But that's what you said, the whole world is not, and yet we see, correct, we both fall in the same category. One is subtle, one is gross, okay? But gross is easy. You can get up from a dream and say it was a dream and forget it. But in the waking, it is very difficult to say that it is a dream. It is very difficult to say it is not a reality, because I touch, feel, taste, smell, etc., etc., and it becomes and I conclude this is a book. I can conclude it. So here it is said, when one becomes free from the thoughts in the mind, which are the result of the stimuli that have come through the senses, and such a person is called a yogi. But this yoga, apramattastada bhavati, yoga hi prabhavapyayau. So here he says apramatta. Apramatta means Pramatta, apramatta, free. Free from the conditionings, free from the thought fluctuations, free from the involvement and withdrawal. And this is the flux that we are in. So we have to become free of all this. Is it possible? Yes. Apramata, then then the person is said to be in yoga. So here now we talked a little bit about it yes last class, and now we'll look at the bhashya. I think we started it, but let's read it again. Tam idrishim tad avastham yogam iti manyante viyogam santam. That state, what is that state? That state where we have separated ourselves from everything. When we have disconnected ourselves from everything, then it is yoga. Right? See? Viyog is yoga. Viyogam santam. Viyoga with what? Yoga means union. Union of what? Union of yourself, you with yourself. The I with the absolute I. The union of the soul with the soul. And what is yoga is union, viyoga is disunion. So when we have disunited with everything, it leads to yoga. That is what is said in the first line itself. When we see this bhashya of Adi Shankaracharya, every word in the verse, tam, yogam, iti manyante, the main words, not the pronouns and indeclinables, the main words, all of them are addressed, and he goes on to explain. So here he is explaining what is yogam. So he's in one line he has said viyogam is equal to yogam, because union cannot be created. It happens. When does it happen? When you disconnect, disidentify, disunite with everything. And what was that everything? Everything that is coming through your senses, or everything that is coming in the mind, or everything that is that the I thought which keeps coming up, that is the intellect. When the senses are at rest, the mind is at rest, and the intellect is at rest. When you are disconnected with all of them, then yoga happens, comes about. Then union is revealed. You cannot create it. You cannot grasp it. See, first line, how beautiful it is. Now, do atmasat, take it in. Live such a life that you do not get emotionally, intellectually, sensorily involved and attached to any damn thing in this world. Make a commitment to yourself that I will ever remain in the poise. Initially, you will slip, but you keep maintaining that poise. Remain in the center. Remain in the center. Consciously do not get involved with anything. See? Sarva anartha sanyoga viyoga lakshana hi ayam avastha yoginaha. So the condition of yoga the condition of union, yoga, union, the condition of union of you with yourself is only, will only come about when here it says sarva anartha sanyo. When we stop all involvement, uh, all possible anartha. Anartha means unnecessary involvement, and disunite with what we see, hear, touch, feel, taste, imagine, intellectualize, ideate, imagine. Viyoga lakshana he ayam avastha. Indeed, that condition, that avastha, that condition, that state is of the yogis. See? एतस्यां हि अवस्थायाम् अविद्या अध्यारोपण वर्जित स्वरूप प्रतिष्ठ आत्मा. In this state alone, in this state, he means indeed, he means alone. In this state alone, the Atma is able to be free from all the superimpositions of avidya, kama, karma, of ignorance, desire, and activity, action, each one being the child of the other. Karma is the child of desire, desire is the child of nescience or ignorance. So what is that state? Again we repeat. It is sarva anartha sanyoga viyoga lakshana. When one is free from all the attachments and detachments of, we don't want to attach also, we don't want to, we must come to a point where this thought of detachment also leaves us. Because there is nothing to detach from now. But till you reach that point, keep detaching. Keep detaching. And how do you do it? Naturally, not forcefully, not willfully, naturally. How do you do it naturally? When things have not clicked in your heart, then you want to force. You will do asana, you will do pranayam, and then you will cover your eyes with the, with the cloth. I don't want to see the world. Or, this Brahmari mudra is there. With the two fingers you close this, with two eyes, with these fingers you close the eyes, with the thumb you close the ears. At least 3 senses are closed. Thank God I can close 3. What about the mouth? With the mouth also, sorry. 4 you can. So this one, and with the thumbs, ears. So 4 senses closed. Only 1 sense is left, and that is the skin. This is forced. But to jumpstart, you can do this. Not a problem. But natural. Natural is continue to live your life as you are, but let the shift happen in your heart through understanding. And once the shift happens inside, automatically the outward performance will change. Of what? Of the senses, of the mind, of the intellect, of the I. Automatically it will happen. You don't have to force it. That wife, that girl who before childbirth was calculating. I did the dish. I did the cooking. You do the dishes. I washed the clothes. You dry it out. I brought it in. You iron. All calculation. Where does that calculation go when the child is born? Naturally, she is for the kid. She forgets, I fed the milk, now you change the nappy. She doesn't say that. Whatever is required to be done, she does for the kid, isn't it? Because my kid. I'm not talking here about my or yours. I'm talking about the natural. See, naturally it comes from within her to take care of that child. That natural taking care was not coming for the husband, but for the child it comes. So, from the he becomes free from the superimpositions of ignorance, desire, and karma or activity, and thus he remains established in his own essence, in his own swarup. Continuing. स्थिराम इंद्रिय धारणाम स्थिराम अचलाम इंद्रिय धारणाम बाह्यांतःकरणानाम धारणम इति अर्थः. So here the word that is being looked at is sthiram indriya dharanam. This is the word. Word is being looked at. And what does it say? That when you come to what we just told you, that state where one is established in his self, free from the superimpositions of avidya, kama, karma, that state of union itself is called as sthiram indriya dharanam, sthiram achalam. Because as long as you are trying to quieten the senses, you have not quietened the senses. You're still trying. When you're trying to quieten the mind, you have not quietened the mind. You are still trying to quieten the mind. Then what does it mean when the senses are at rest, mind is at rest, and intellect is at rest? The sthiti of yoga, the state of yoga, the state of union, where you are with yourself, in yourself. And here, the impact of the senses, impact of the mind, impact of the intellect is null and void. This is our Sanatan Dharma. We don't run away from the world. While living in the world, we achieve this. We don't have to run away to a forest, to a cave. Do unnatural things and then create problems for yourself. What are unnatural things? Yoga, pranayama. Don't do unnaturally. You go to sleep naturally. The whole world drops away from the mind naturally. The senses are not interested in the stimuli naturally when the sleep catches you from within, isn't it? When it catches you naturally from inside, when you become convinced, when the thirst to know, the yearning that I want to know myself as I really am, not through thoughts, not through perception, not through knowledge, not through an experience. I want to know as I am. And it makes you uncomfortable every moment. Not Wednesday to Wednesday. Then automatically, just like The sleep catches you from inside, the senses withdraw from the stimuli, the mind withdraws from the thoughts, the eye withdraws from the mind and goes into sleep. Exactly the same journey naturally can come about. You have become convinced. I'm repeating this, I've said this before also. You become convinced that sleep is necessary for a refresh, for refreshing yourself so that you can take on the world next day. When you have worked this out, that every day I am going in, refreshing myself and coming out, is there a way that I can be refreshed forever and ever and ever in one go? Like Arjuna asked Krishna, is there a way that I can come to know not your specific revelation? Among the mountains, Krishna said, I am the Himalayas. Among the trees, I am the Ashwatha. Among the men, I am the Arjuna. Among the rishis, I am the Kapil Muni, etc., etc. He says, can I come to know all of that in one go? Has it ever occurred to us that, or through our contemplation, that enough, yaar, every day I'm going to sleep and again the world is coming and I get exhausted? Is there a way that 100% rejuvenation, recharge forever and ever and ever? Is it possible? It is possible. This is the way. And we are not talking about sleep. We are not talking about samadhi. We are not talking about going in and coming out. Samadhi is where you go in, everything has become quiet and you have come to yourself. When you come out again, the crazy world is there. We are not talking about that. We are talking about abidance. We are talking about union. We are talking about looking at the world from the divine's point of view, not from the individual point of view. When the yoga means union of the lower I with the infinite I. So how will the infinite I look at everything? How will the infinite waters look at the total waters called ocean and the individual waters called waves? What will be its vision? That vision we want. Not we want. We don't want it. It will reveal. Our job is only to check the senses, check the mind, that no precipitation of thoughts is taking place. Clear? स्थिराम इंद्रिय धारणाम स्थिराम अचलाम इंद्रिय धारणाम बाह्यांतर करणाना अंतःकरणानाम धारणम इति अर्थः. So here he says that state, that avastha, sthiram indriya dharana is called as, what is it? Sthira meaning achala. Achala means, chala means that which is moving. Remember Sangeeta in chapter 2 or 3? Chala. Chala means to move, to walk. Achala, not moving, not walking, not changing. So achala. So indriyas are not moving. They are not. Now I see Ravi. How is he looking? I can't see his face. Oh, let me see Usha. Usha, she's smiling. And now, no, enough. Now let me go to the next one. She's also smiling. So that means, again, go from one to the other. This is what our eyes are doing continuously. You must have seen many people, they can't, they keep going. The eyes are not calm, continuously blinking and looking this way, that way, that way, that way, that way. You must have, maybe we are also culprit of that with the ears. Tune, what did you say? What did you say? All you have to say, Usha. Don't say anything after that. Usha will ask, Swamiji, what did you say? And she'll come with smiling. I didn't say anything. No, no, you must have said something. No, I didn't say. Seriously, I didn't say anything. Then Kutti, I will not speak to you. Why? Because you didn't tell me what you said, but I didn't say anything. See how our mind imagines that because the name is taken, it must be my name. We are talking about the Usha Kal, the sunrise, not you, Usha. We are talking about Bodh, not this Bodh. We are talking about the Bodh of. See? But we are so identified with our personality. Everything must. So, achalam. So, sthiram indriyanam is equal to sthiram here means, sthiram means unmoving, unaffected, uninfluenced, uninvolved, which these are all different names by which you can put achalam or sthiram. So here he is given, for sthiram he has given you another word, achalam. And then he says, here he says, Indriya sthiram achalam, Indriya dharanam bahya antah karananam dharanam iti artaha. That means the inner and outer. Antakaran is what? Mana buddhi chitta hankar, mind, intellect, memory and ego. All are thoughts. All are thoughts. So, you can have thoughts of the outside world or you can have thoughts of the inside world. In dream, everything is inside. Nothing is coming from outside, isn't it? So, memories are from inside. Mana is mind. Thoughts are inside. Buddhi, intellect, the I thought is inside. Chitta, the memories, they are from inside. Ahankar, the I, that is also thought inside, the feeling is inside. So here it says, Bhaya Antah Karananam. So the outside thoughts as well as the inner thoughts, quieten them down. And this is exactly what Japa also does. Vaikhari Madhyama. Vaikhari is when you have chanted the Om, that verse will come to, in 2-3 verses later. Again, when you chant any mantra or just Om, you should do it in the loud chanting, it quietens the waking world. When it quietens the waking world, automatically the loud chanting becomes mental chanting. And as you become focused on that mental chanting, which is happening naturally, you didn't force it to go in, when it happens naturally, then the mental projections, the thoughts projections in the mind, they also quieten down. In the dream, whatever you say is only a thought. Whatever you imagine is only a thought. Fantasies are only a thought. Correct? Everything quietens down. So here he's saying, Sthiram Indriya Dharanam means everything has become quietened down. Now the senses are not going out to interact. The mind is not going out, waiting for the stimuli to come. It is happy within itself. The steps after this is Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. But if you want, they can become step by step, or if you want, The moment pratyahara happens, where the senses and the mind have become quiet, there and then the yoga happens. If we have understood it. But if we have controlled our senses, we have controlled our mind, then you want to go into the dharana with control, then you want to get into samadhi, and then put a loudspeaker. I went into Savikalpa Samadhi. Now I have entered into Shabdanu with Savikalpa Samadhi. Now I entered into Nirvikalpa Samadhi. I am greater than you are. I am more evolved than you are. I can go into Samadhi, you can't. So you must listen to me. It's the sattvic ego. Very difficult to kill that one. So we don't want to go into Samadhi. We want to go into the union. Yoga. Okay, continuing. Apramattah pramadavarjitah samadhanam pratinityam yatnavanstada tasmin kale yada eva pravritta yogo bhavatiti samarthyad avagamyate. So here, at that time, when these senses have become quietened, when the mind has become quietened, the intellect has become quietened, because there is no need for the I to pop up. I. There is nothing to associate. What will it come up for? And remember, you are awake. You are not going to sleep. If you force yourself, you will go to sleep. If it is happening naturally, you will never go to sleep. You will be naturally awake. Because all these verses will go through your mind like this. Not slowly, not 1.5 hours, don't worry. But the essence of it will click. That I must remain naturally alert and vigilant. And what is that? When the senses and the mind and the intellect quieten, the pramad, the default settings, they become null and void. Think, what are your default settings when you come back home from work? You park the car in a particular way, ready to take off again. Reverse करके कार पार्क में लगाते हैं, ड्राइवे में लगाते हैं. You open the door in a particular way, you put the shoes in a particular way. The moment you come in, you leave the bag in a particular way, in a particular spot. Then what are your takiya kalams, default settings? Where is the tea or where is the coffee? Or if you are self-help, then either the wife takes the charge of making the chai or coffee, or the husband takes the charge of making tea or coffee. And everything, you leave the office, you leave the driving, now you are at home, suddenly everything that you have practiced for so many years starts clicking in, and then see, default settings. Immediately the hand goes on the TV control and the news starts coming on. Default settings. Pramad is default settings. Remember, what is the expression of tamas? What are the symptoms of inertia? They are nidra, alasya, pramad. Sleep, nidra, alasya, laziness and procrastination. Don't take laziness to be disinterested. I am vairagya ho gaya. Nahin. Yogi is ever what you call, inspired. He is not living a lazy life. People may see he is sitting and not doing anything, but inside he is ever alert and he is inspired to come to abide in his essential nature as a seeker also. And the third is pramad. Repeating the same mistake again and again. Many times you must have said, You must have said something to each other or to the children or to your boss or to your fellow employees, and then you say, oh, I'm sorry, I should not have said that. Pramad. And if your ego stops you from saying sorry, inside you know you should not have said that. Your mind speaks inside. Again it came out of my mouth. I should not. You're not showing it to the other person, but inside you are working it out. That when this wrong habit will go. Pramad. So here, apramattaha pramada varjitaha. Pramad. Varjita is without. Without pramad. Without default settings. Meaning what? Such a person is ever alert and vigilant to bring about the cessation of cessation, or to bring the senses and the mind to rest. He is ever working on it. No, doesn't leave one moment to default setting. That is when we have overcome pramad. That is when we are not spiritual on class to class, Wednesday to Wednesday, Thursday to Thursday, Sunday to Sunday. No. Not only 7:30 to 9 on these days. We are 24/7, 365 days a year. We are alert towards the poise that is within. We are alert not to precipitate the data into memory into our mind, as memory into our mind. We are alert not to get unnecessarily involved at the sensory level or at the mental level in imaginations. We are alert. And if something from inside by default comes up, immediately, because we are alert, cut. How do you cut it? By shifting your attention to the consciousness. It's unnecessary, not necessary. Or chanting your mantra or whatever. Apramattah pramada varjitaha. So, such a person is ever alert and vigilant to bring about contentment within his mind and intellect. Because of discontentment, there are desires. Because of desires, there is involvement in the world at the mind and the sensory level and the body level eventually. All because of discontentment. And then what is contentment? Wherever I am, whatever I am, whenever I am 100. I am as I am. 100. Just accept yourself. This is Swamiji's mantra. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Don't tell anyone to come, don't tell anyone to go. I gave you one example for this. Akhandanandji Maharaj was in Rishikesh, and there was one mad Baba on a small island in the Gangaji. And every day Swamiji used to go and he used to spend some time with him, or wanted to spend some time with him. And one day he said, Swamiji, would you like to listen to Bhagavad? Because Akhandanandji was used to speak very well on Bhagavad. And he started speaking. So one day after, when he became a bit familiar, so he asked that Babaji, how do you live here? No, not how do you live here. He said, can I go now? It was getting late at night, so whatever he had to say was done on the Bhagavad. And then He says, can I leave? And what time should I come tomorrow? And that great Mahatma said, he says, it's up to you. He says, no, you tell me. He says, why should I tell you to go? You came by yourself. You decided that you want to meet me. You came. You decide when you want to go. I didn't call you. So if I didn't call you, why should I say that you go now? Like someone said, Swamiji, please give me Ashirwad that I should stop smoking. Did you take Ashirwad when you started smoking? Swamiji, please inaugurate the first cigarette. If I had done that, then okay, I will stop it also. See, so remain content. We are talking about contentment, samadhan. This is I think I spoke about this last week, just a mention. Among the 4 qualifications, discrimination, that was, what do you call discrimination in Sanskrit? Vivek.
Vivek.
When I asked you the question, I remembered the answer. This is one way to cover your ignorance. Ask the question. Vivek, Vairagya, Shatka Sampatti, Mumukshutvam. So Vivek is discrimination between truth and untruth. Vairagya is dispassion. Then when do they become stable? Only when you have Shatka Sampatti. The Shatka Sampatti, Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan. Samadhan. Remember the word Samadhan? Just now it came. Contentment. So when your senses, your mind have come and they are not going outwards, and you endure whatever the life is throwing at you happily, joyfully, not ha ha hu, aane to, aise nahi, in the poise, whatever is coming. And how do you do it? With faith. And what is the faith on? That it will happen. And why we need it to happen? Because we want to quieten the senses, we want to quieten the mind, we want to quieten the intellect. Why? Because I want to achieve the goal of yoga. I want to be myself, the true me. Then samadhan. So what I am as I am at this moment. I need nothing, I want nothing, I desire nothing, I don't run away from anything. This is titiksha. Joyfully. World will keep, because you are part of this. As your mind is becoming quieter, directly proportional to that, the challenges will also the world will throw. It is initial stages, it comes like that. See? Or maybe inner emotional attachments, or something that has been disturbing you, that will come up. Don't give it any samadhan. It is as it is. Live life on the principles. What we are telling you is the principle. Don't get, but what about my family? But what about my children? But what about my mother? Live life on principles. We are in conversation with death. Don't forget the context. Pramadavarjitaha samadhanam pratinityam yatnavan. Yatnavan means he is ever putting efforts. He is ever alert and vigilant. Yatnavan. Samadhanam pratinityam. He continuously putting efforts to be content wherever he is, as he is, where the life has put him. Doesn't want anything, doesn't desire anything, doesn't run away from anything, etc., etc., etc. And after some time, tasmin kale yada eva pravritta yogo bhavatiti samarthyad avagamyate. And as a result of this, he gets his, because he's remaining content, that contentment gets transformed into yoga, into the union. See? At that time, yeah, at that time, uh, well, yoga, that was the first, that was the first tam yogamiti manyante. Remember the first part of the verse? Tam yogamiti manyante. Then samadhan will lead to, samadhan, contentment, will lead to contentment of what? Contentment of the senses, the mind, the intellect. The contentment of the senses is that they are no longer wanting to interact with the world, or they are not influenced by what the world is throwing at it. What is the contentment of the mind? That the mind is not interested in going out of the senses and thinking about the world, thinking about the stimuli. What is the contentment of the eye? Eye is not interested in the thoughts in the mind. Udasina. The eye has got vairagya from all the thoughts in the mind. How wonderful it will be. This is happening to you every day when you go to sleep. We are just putting it in the context of sadhana. Nothing in our scriptures is told which is not already happening to you. At that time, here it says, samarthyad bhavati pravritta yogo bhavati iti samarthyad avagamyate. So understand it in this manner, what is written in the previous Sanskrit bhashya. Now continuing, nahi buddhyadi cheshta abhave pramada sambhavosti. Because buddhi etc., buddhi, intellect etc., when they have become null and void, when they have become, there is no thought bubbles coming up in the mind, and the intellect, the no I is erupting again and again. I will erupt in the buddhi only when there is an object for it to associate with. Remember, aham, idam are coexisting. If there is no idam, I showed two fingers, all these balloons came up. So, again, abhi nahi aaya. So, when there is no idam, there is no reason for aham to put its hood up, because it's got nothing to associate. If this is gone, this also goes away. Where does it go away? This is called jnana mudra. It goes back to its source. That is yoga. That is realization. That is the self meeting the self. And it is a meaningless meeting. It's a meaningless meeting. So we are just removing all distractions, between the between the between the individual self and the infinite self. Those distractions are the thoughts. Anyway, so what we are saying here is, uh, so when the urge within the buddhi, when the urge within the I to involve, to associate, to interact, to give value, to give importance to any thought, when that is, when that has gone away, then pramad will not happen. Pramad, the default setting will not happen. See? First, the problem is the mind wants to go out of the. First, the problem is the senses want to keep looking what they like and keep wanting to go away what they don't like. But remember one thing, senses have got no intelligence. They are merely the mirrors. They are merely the perceivers. Correct? Then you come to the mind. It is the mind which is going out of the senses. I like that. I don't like that. It is the mind which is doing that. And what is in that mind which is saying, I like that, I don't like that? That can be anything. What is it? I. Where is this I? This fellow is in the intellect. So it is the reformation of the I. This is the crucifixion of the I. When every data from it is taken away, or when the I is not interested in anything, he is crucified. He rediscovers that he is the infinite one. Tasmat prag eva buddhyadi chesto paramad pramadah vidhiyate. Tasmat, therefore, the intellect, etc., it means intellect, mind and senses, so here what it's saying is tasmat prag eva. Prag means before. Before eva alone itself. Before itself. Therefore, before we come to that point where the intellect is not giving value and is not interested in anything, we start practicing it in life. Don't wait when it happens. You start practicing it. If that is the conclusion that we have to come to, then live a life where in a disinterested manner. That disinterest should be inside, not outside. Nobody should know. Vairagya inside, love outside. This concoction you have to perfect. This will get perfected only when we are committed to the truth, when we are yearning for the truth, when we want it to naturally come about, not forcefully. So we have to live a dynamic life. We don't have to live a life of nidra, alasya, pramad, tamasic life. We don't want to live. So we have not come to know the truth. Wherever we are lazy, whenever we are procrastination, whenever we find ourselves behaving in a default way, wherever we find ourselves under the influence of oversleep, be alert, get out of it. Find yourself consciously going beyond the laziness and becoming dynamic. Every moment the world is presenting itself new. It is never the same world. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree?
Yes, Swamiji.
Every moment the world is changing. It's brand new every moment. How are you living? Taking same husband from yesterday, today also. Same house from yesterday, today also. Same car from yesterday, today also. Same body from yesterday, today also. Same senses from yesterday, today also. Same disease from yesterday, today also. Tere ki. This is default setting. If we keep repeating the default, we'll keep getting the results we have been getting. You have to break the barriers. You have to break. You have to get out of the rut that we have imposed upon ourselves through thinking, through association. And that has to be started not on the seat of meditation, that you start while you are living in your daily life. Every moment be alert. When you are living every moment where there is no past, there is no future, you will look at the world as it is presenting itself. With no ifs, no buts, just accepting it. That's how it is. Without coloring it with the past. See? Or future. अथवा यदा एव इन्द्रियाणां स्थिरा धारणा तदानीम् एव निरङ्कुशम् अप्रमत्त तत्त्वम् इत्यतः अभिधीयते अप्रमत्तस्तदा भवतीति. So here he says that, or when the indriyas, when the senses meaning the five senses and the mind, when they become quiet, at that very moment, all the thought eruptions in the mind, they become quietened, and the person becomes free of all apramattas. The means all the thoughts become quiet in his mind. Apramatta, we saw the meaning was that free from all imaginations, involvements, interactions. The mind is not interested in going out and getting involved in anything. This was the second option. It was said athva, or. Kutaha, why is it so? Yogo hi yasmat प्रभवाप्ययौ उपजनापाय धर्मका इति अर्थः. अतः अपाय परिहाराय प्रमादः कर्तव्यः इति अभिप्रायः. Because the student is asked, Adi Shankaracharya himself is putting a question. Why is it? Why you say like this? The two options, or because that yoga itself is of one is the when this yoga happens, if we have not practiced what we just told you, the samadhan from daily living, and we practice samadhan only on the seat of meditation, then it will lead to laya. It will lead to uh, uh, a samadhi from which, when you come out, the world is still there. But when you have sorted out the outside, you have been alert, you have been in poise, you have been in consciously, uh, uh, you are not interested in the world, so the senses become quiet. The mind is not interested in the sensory perceptions, the stimuli, then the mind becomes quiet. When we are starting from our daily life, and as a naturally the pull is coming from within to come to the seat of meditation, or we come to that moment where we dive into ourselves, and when the yoga happens, well, I think so here when he's saying yogo hi yasmat prabhavapyayo upajanapaya dharmaka iti artha, that means when the yoga takes place, after that upajana means again the birth of the world comes about for the yogi, so that this does not happen, so that this lay does not take place, so that we don't go into a state of uh, how should I say it, when we have not resolved everything, where we have not resolved everything, where we have come to a state of meditation, but our intellect is not convinced. Intellect is just enjoying the meditation and then wanting to come out. Just like you are going into sleep, enjoying the sleep, blissful sleep, and coming out because it is refreshing. So we go into meditation, enjoy the meditation, and come out again the same world. So that this does not happen, so that this lie, this enfoldment of the mind does not happen. So that this enfoldment of the mind does not happen. Then what should happen? Transformation of the everything must happen. So what has happened in samadhi? The mind has enfolded and you have come to be with yourself, and then when the mind unfolds again the eye gets identified with all the stimuli. But when we practice from outside, from the no pramad, no default settings, we are practicing contentment every moment of our life. And then when the inner naturally we go in, then there is final consummation. That will be talked about in the next verse, probably. And that consummation is wherein the total transformation of the vision takes place. Then there is no world to come back to, because I am all that there is. Why we are missing out when we go into meditation and we come out of meditation? Why the world is still there? If I was with myself, something is going amiss. We are not, the bullseye is not hit. That bullseye is not that I take an arrow and hit it. It is not like that. When the mind basks in the light of consciousness, whether it is unmanifest mind or manifest mind, when it basks in the light of consciousness, everything will be of the nature of divine. That is yoga. Yoga is not going to samadhi and coming out. That is temporary. Yoga is okay. So very, very weak. This is the point that the teacher is Adi Shankaracharya ji is making here. To avoid the laya prakriya, to avoid the to avoid the getting into a mechanical uh, uh, meditation where the senses are withdrawing temporarily, mind is withdrawing temporarily, and there is nothing for the eye to get associated with, but you have not, your attention is only on the enjoyment, your attention is maybe only on withdrawing from the world because it's too much. And when this lie happens, yes, it is samadhi, but the person has an inkling that I was in samadhi. In lay leads to samadhi, but it is jada samadhi. It is inert. Then how do I know that it has that I was in one with myself? Only one way. Only one way. That when naturally the senses and the mind get activated because that is their nature, you don't see the world as separate from yourself. You see the world as the divine says, as the divine sees it. How does the divine see? I don't know who the divine is, where the divine is. I don't even, if sometimes you say he doesn't have a mind, now you're saying that he sees it. How does he see it? The answer for that is coming in the next verse, and that is only how the scriptures tell us one thing, and who is confirming what the scriptures tell us is true is the saints and sages who are living even today. These are the only two. Because they are living, walking, talking masters who have had the direct experience or direct experienceless experience. Around Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Nisarga Datta Maharaj, etc. You know so many names yourself. This is the Vedantic way, huh? We are not talking the Patanjali way. There also eventually you get to that, but people are lost only in yoga and pranayam. In the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutra, there is only one verse for the asanas. Only one verse. Only one verse. That too was the second chapter, not even in the first chapter. And what does it say? For the asanas, only one verse. Sutra, not a verse. Sutra. Sthiram sukham iti asanam. Again, sthiram is coming. Remember we did sthiram? Sthiram means what? Still, steady, content. In what? Sukham. Sukham means happiness. Which happiness? Which does not come and go. Sthiram sukham is the true asan. Establishment, steadiness in the happiness is true asan. And what is the world practicing? Yeah. Because body identified. Everything with body, so keep doing animal asans. Bhujangasan, Gardhavasan, Mayurasan, Kukkutasan. All asanas are animals. Human asana is only one, Shavasana. That is dead body. That is the only asana at the body level. Anyway, this is extra information for you people. So that we do not, sthiram sukham is exactly the same thing. So that we don't fall into this laya prakriya, so that we don't fall into enfoldment and unfoldment of the mind. That enfoldment and unfoldment of the mind is happening in sleep also every night. It is happening in coma also. But the same thing is happening in meditation also. So what have you achieved? In sleep also you get bliss. In coma also you did not know where you were. In samadhi also you don't know where you were, and you enjoy maybe equal or greater bliss. It depends upon how deep the lay was, how deep the absorption of the mind was. We want to avoid that. We want to rediscover that this I is of the nature of infinitude. This I is of the nature of immortality. This I is of the nature of happiness. This I is of the nature of everything. There is nothing else apart from it. And if we are coming out of meditation and finding the world as we left it before, it is a joke of a meditation. Should we not practice it? Practice it. Keep refining. Keep refining. What is the refinement? Every moment be in the poise. Every moment have dispassion in the heart, disinterested activity within the world. But joyfully. That knack you have to find. We'll look at it more in our, because that's the next is the Sambandha Bhashya. So what was told in the last part was apaya pariharaya pramadaha. This default setting of going into meditation and coming out of meditation to find the same world. This is called, this is another default, pramad. This is also pramad. Pramad means what? Default setting. Default setting, what is happening here in meditation? We go, our mind gets dissolved and again gets activated, and we think that we were in meditation. We want to get out of this also. Nothing we want to get stuck with. We don't want temporary bliss. We want permanent one. Remember discrimination? First step. So we keep practicing it, no problem. Keep practicing it, at least less problem for the world because one person is not interfering too much. Keep practicing, but keep refining your attitude towards what is taking place. Keep refining, keep correcting, keep remaining alert, keep remaining vigilant. When you are in the world, that is the first place. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.